Hey everyone, welcome back to Haunt After Hours, where we pay tribute to the work, chaos, and fun that goes on behind the scenes. I'm Heartless Heather, and I'm here with Director Gary.
Hi.
Big Ant.
Hello, everyone.
And Nannie Jannie.
Hey, y'all.
And for those of you who may just be tuning into us and aren't familiar with our show, what we do is each of us have a separate segment. I go over trends and things going on in the haunt industry. Gary reviews a horror movie every week. Big Ant goes over a boo story of the week. So if you have any silly stories in your haunt, send in your silly cast stories to hauntafterhours@gmail.com, and you may end up on the show. And Nannie Jannie shares a paranormal story every week. And in addition to all of that, we discuss our topic of the week. This week, we're going to be discussing the haunt family and building relationships, HR horror stories, and...
You sure this is, we got enough room on just one episode for this topic?
Yeah.
We've done this topic actually before, but we're revisiting it.
I feel like this should be this could be an entire series.
Every season should have at least two episodes on it.
So before we get all into that, Big Ant, share with us your boo story of the week.
Okay, so we're still on working on the laws here. I've got about 2 more weeks, and then we're going to give it a break. We'll go on to some actual boo stories, but I found these 50, and we're down to 20. So let's hit it right now. In Kentucky, did you know that it is illegal to dye ducklings blue and sell them?
Why would you be doing that?
I don't know why you would be doing that, but the law is designed to protect the welfare of animals and prevent the exploitation of pets for novelty purposes. So dyed birds can suffer harm from the dyeing process and may be at risk for neglect once the novelty wears off. So I'm not real sure what the blue has to do with anything, but
I'm wondering, well, I don't like, we are trying to avoid dyes in our food, so I don't know if like blue would harm it in some type of way. Or...
I learned just...
So you can't eat ducks that have been dyed blue?
Well, no, we won't eat that.
For 200 years, clothing articles, none of your articles of clothing for over 200 years had green in it or green dye. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Just like, or it was blue and red dyes that made the, or no, that's
some kind of arsenic or something. In order to make the green color, it was a poisoning that had to be put in there. So they just, like royalty and what have you not, that there was no green because it killed people.
Oh,
I think I remember reading something about that.
I just learned that not too long ago. I thought, oh, interesting.
so we're not going to be dyeing blue ducks, but there are, like, why else would you have a pet?
Like to dye them color?
To dye them color? Seriously?
I don't understand the, like, you can't.
Why else would you have a pet? Companionship. I don't know.
My kids, when they want something, it's because they think it makes them cool.
So they want to dye it?
No, we're not dyeing it, but I'm saying, like, we got the Yorkie.
Just give them color crayons.
Buy the Yorkies.
That'll work. Yeah.
We give the Yorkie cute little haircuts, but not anymore. Since he's been out here and turned into this farm dog, he makes me sick. So
He's a good little farm dog. He's a herder. He's a goat herder.
he doesn't realize, he doesn't realize that he's like supposed to be this prim and proper little offensive Yorkie.
He's a registered little Yorkie. Yes. And he got connected with the blue ducks out here, and now he's
a ghetto dog.
So our next one comes from Kansas. Hitting a vending machine that stole your money is illegal in Kansas.
Yeah.
Yes, in Kansas.
It'd be illegal not to.
Yeah.
Yes. Right. You would think that if it stole your money, you should be fine. But it's definitely a private property law, and you can't do it in Kansas.
My 2-year-old would have gone to jail last Saturday. So when he hurt himself when he fell, and he hurt his boy parts, and it was hurting for a few days. We had to take him into the emergency room because it was really hurting him for a few days. And he only wanted his cookies out of the vending machine, but it didn't take cash. It took the card. While I was trying to swipe my card, and the card reader was down. Oh, he was so mad. He kept pushing on the thing.
Yeah.
Like,
He went in there cranky.
Yeah, he's already having a bad.
Right. He's already having a bad day, right? Okay, so our next one came from Indiana. You cannot catch fish with a firearm in Indiana.
They're not good to eat if you catch it with a firearm anyways. What about that?
Trying to shooting a trout with a gun.
It's illegal to catch fish in Indiana with dynamite, firearms, or crossbows.
I have to share a story too. I'm sorry I didn't get her feeling, but okay. We have in Tennessee, I had my next door neighbors over for dinner, and just the wife. She was over. I don't know if we were baking something or I don't know what we were doing, but she was over for dinner, and like we had kids over playing, and her and I. One of the kids comes in screaming, "There's a snake on the front porch! There's a snake on the front porch!"
There's a snake in my boot.
So we go outside to look at it, and she freaks out. It's this huge anaconda, and she calls her husband.
Anaconda.
She calls her husband over, and her husband, it's late, and it's like Friday night, so he's already a few beers in, right? He comes over with his gun. You're in Tennessee, not California. He's gonna shoot the snake, and he sees it. And he's like, "That's what you're calling an anaconda," and he's like, "Good thing you think that's huge." Die.
Okay, we can move on now.
Oh, what reminded you of this? What part of this story reminded you of this? Okay.
Not the snake. He missed it twice, and then he.
So just in case they're watching this episode, who was that neighbor again?
Maybe wrong donor. I'm ashamed to.
That's fun. Oh, it was Ron. That's not the neighbor I thought you were talking about, quite frankly. Yeah, Ron would have shot him. Yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt. Did he shoot him?
Eventually.
Well, he missed it. He was drunk, but he shot twice.
Don't stand anywhere close to him.
Kids.
All right. Our next one is from Illinois. Culinary sippers. Illinois law permits individuals under 21 to handle and serve alcohol as part of their employment in establishments that hold a valid liquor license. This exception applies to culinary programs, allowing students to receive comprehensive training and experience in working with alcoholic beverages. So basically what it's saying is that if you are under 21 and you are in a culinary program, you are allowed to sip alcohol.
Wow.
So
I don't know exactly the rules, but in Louisiana, you can because it's like a French settlement or
yeah,
you can serve minor. Like
I thought it was 14 and over or something, as long as your parents were with you or something. Is that right?
You know, when I worked for the colonel from England, that was one of his daughter's biggest thing. Like when they're home, they make dinner. Their wife, she serves the wine with.
Yeah,
them.
like it's not a big deal for them.
And they
right?
would go out to eat, and she would order a glass of wine, and they wouldn't serve her, and she couldn't understand why couldn't she have wine with her
dinner.
Yeah, dinner.
Yeah. Well, so in Louisiana, they actually have drive-through margarita shack.
Yeah, but they don't. Not for 14-year-olds.
Not
No, not for 14. But I mean, really, you're in a car, you're going through a drive-through, your kids are on the back seat.
You need 2 gallons, please. Extra strong.
Hey, some people need to sleep at night. Okay.
Yes, did you know that, Gary? That they have drive? Were you there? Did you go through one of those?
I was there. I did not have any, but yes, we went through twice in 24 hours, and that's all I'm going to say.
So you know how they get? You know that they get? So first of all, they sell it in gallon jugs, but in the cups, if they just put a piece of tape over the straw hole, it's legal. It's no longer considered a
Yeah, they had
container.
They handed out a milk jug.
Yeah.
Full of it.
Yeah.
Twice.
Twice in 24 hours.
You've got to
You know what I'm talking about.
You have got to love Louisiana. I'm just saying.
I'm just gonna say it. It's got to be Cody with the K.
What?
Right.
It was
I'm surprised there was only twice to be.
Right.
It's one of the most impressive things I've ever seen.
Yeah. I'm surprised you didn't have a tent sitting outside the parking lot.
Had the gallon with the straw in it.
Right.
So,
He was pissed because somebody else had when he came back downstairs, because we're at the party barn,
Mhm.
and he came back downstairs and he realized someone was missing. He was like, "Who's been drinking my daiquiri?" I'm like, "Bro, you have an entire gallon.
yeah.
What are you upset about?" And so it was a few days later we were talking. He's like, "How much sugar do you think that was?"
Oh yeah.
Oh no, dude, but
Seriously.
2 gallons of daiquiri.
Didn't mind. Forget about the alcohol. How much sugar was in it? Yes. We got to watch our weight there.
That was the
It's
night.
really funny about things. We went to eat at a Waffle House, me and him and Kason, and he held it against me for years because Kason had a soda at 10 o'clock in the morning at the Waffle House.
But don't drink 2 gallons of daiquiri.
What kind of mother gives their kids soda for breakfast? Like, I don't know, the kind of mother that's sitting at the Waffle House. So like,
Speaking of the Waffle House, that night that he was hitting the 2nd gallon, you took him to the Waffle House after we got done for the night, and he almost got his card stolen and his
Everything. Yeah. I think he'd been to the daiquiri shop shortly before that.
oh, he was hammered.
Probably twice more than we actually know.
He was hammered, and he hid back.
He came out to the car and he was getting in the wrong car. He's like, oh, and then he comes to me and goes, I lost my card. I'm like, did you leave it in the other car?
Right?
Very-
Better go check.
when you have Cody around, he uses everything. So you
So he had to run behind the building.
Oh, yeah.
Thinking, well, maybe he has to go to the bathroom or something. I'm not for sure why he's. And then he comes back and he looks at me and goes, oh, I thought you left me. I'm like, we're here the whole time.
He's such a kind person most of the time.
Yeah.
He came back to the house and he had all these bags of food. Guys, I bought your food and all that. It's like, dude, we ate like you were there. We ate at the restaurant, or we ate at the party bong. We had chicken. Oh, and it was so sweet, like pancakes with all sorts of caramel or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know how much he spent, but he really cared about us. And
Yeah.
I find it so funny how you say he's so sweet. He is a good friend, but on the flip side of that, I didn't get to make it to that trip, and he was saying how he wanted a charcuterie board because we were making charcuterie boards at the party barn, but I wasn't going to be there to make it. So I said, Molly and Janice, just have these Lunchables made up for him, and it'll be like a gag gift. Or he was not happy.
He was mad.
He was mad about those Lunchables. What kind of gift is this?
well, he was mad about Raising Cane's because it was a little bit cold. I remember. Well, I don't think we can swear on the podcast, but he had a few pieces of it, and he was just like, this is gross.
No, yeah.
And so he had Janice take him to the Waffle House.
Oh my!
Oh, that's way better.
Yeah.
My kids
And I hate awful waffle. I hate it, but I took him.
Hey, Waffle House is pretty affordable.
That is.
I'm going to.
Yeah, we had our end of the year cast party there, and the girls and the guy, the cooks, they were great. And the price, I don't even want to say the price on here, but it's unbelievably cheap. And even some of the guys were ordering 2 and 3 and double on the pork chops on their meals, and we were okay because
Well, the night before you took Cody to the Waffle House, you took us all to the Waffle House.
yeah,
And Dave was sitting across from me, Travis was sitting there, and Cody was sitting next to Travis. And Dave's real picky about his food, right?
Dave is the pickiest
Sober Dave.
on the planet.
So this lady comes out, she hands me what I thought was mine. I start eating it. I'm happy as hell. It's good. And then she comes out and lays another thing in, and Dave suddenly is zoomed in on it. And in my opinion, it looks the same, right? Not to Dave. And Dave's all, I didn't order this. And she looks at him and he goes, oh, that one's mine. You got it mixed up. She goes, oh, we'll just eat it. It's good. And she walked away. And Dave was like,
I wanted to say that.
what? And so he ate. He was like, how is that? Is it good? He's like, eating mine. He was not happy. But she straight up was like, too bad. Right?
Now, on her behalf, she did have 87 other people in there that night. She was by herself.
But she just eat it. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just shut up and eat it. Eat what's put in front of you.
And the cat started serving.
When Molly was
She did that too.
Oh, she did.
Yes,
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
You weren't there at all that trip?
Mm-mm.
Oh.
It seems like I am there, but I wasn't.
I'm just saying, okay, so I'm just going to put this out there. You had a cast party at the Waffle House. That is a new low for this industry.
No, they loved it. That's what they wanted.
I'm just saying.
It really did.
I thought pizza was bad, but no, come on, folks.
Do you think that I would say, hey, get my car, let's go to Awful Waffle? You heard me say that. I think I'm the only person in our family on this planet in the haunt industry that does not like Awful Waffle.
Yeah, Travis was all about it. Let's go to Awful Waffle. He was like, yeah, that sounds good. And Cody was wanting to go. Now, I'd never been.
No disrespect, that Waffle House for you in the South.
It was actually really good.
Yeah.
The atmosphere was a little unnerving, though. We had some bikers behind us who were like in their early 60s, and oh man, they were rough. They were rough people. I think they killed a few people before or something. Way
Yeah.
talking. I was just like, oh my god.
So,
Yeah.
can I use you for extras in a Rancho Ford movie?
Yeah, it was rough.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, sorry.
And
Damn that black hole.
So talking about booze and food, and that's what happens.
right?
What is it illegal to do in Illinois?
All right, so let's move on. We'll move on. This one's from Illinois also. It is illegal to take a nap in a cheese factory. Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it.
Okay, you have got to start giving us some feedback to these. Like, tell us what you're going to talk about beforehand so we know what.
Right?
What
Senate-
happens when you fall asleep in a cheese?
Well, the Sanitary Preparation Act, which includes the provision to make it illegal to take a nap in a cheese factory in Illinois, the legislation, sorry, a little cold, was established to ensure high standards of cleanliness and hygiene in fruit production facilities. I'm not real sure why your employer would want you to be taken. I would think that would come in like first anyway. You know what I mean? Your supervisor walks in and you're sleeping. That would probably just be a bad
You know,
thing.
we've been through the Humorous cheese factory. We've been to that St. George cheese factory, and everything seems very sterile and
Right? Exactly. Spotless. Yeah.
cold.
Yeah.
How could you take a nap?
Right?
Yeah,
Well,
I could.
people do
I
sleep
could.
better in cold.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I turn off my heater and I have my fan going. It gets cold. It got down to 58, I think,
Yeah.
last night.
I feel like you do too. You just always, you like the air cold, but then you're always covered up.
I want the blanket. I want the.
Like she wants her face cold.
Yeah.
And the
well,
rest of her's got
no, that's not what I do. Like I'm covered up, and you just see like this part of me.
Yeah.
That's it.
I want
Right?
the room cold, but the heat of the blanket is the weight of the blanket.
Yeah.
But no, I couldn't imagine falling asleep in a cheese factory. First of all, the smell.
Yeah.
I can imagine falling asleep on the job. Like I've never.
No.
Oh, really?
I've never done that.
Before.
Like there's no time to fall asleep on the job.
I fall asleep all the time on my job, which is bad because I'm a truck driver.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Right.
Not for long.
Okay, so Idaho, yeah, right. Not for long. My license just got pulled. Idaho, riding a merry-go-round on Sundays is illegal.
What?
Yes. 1907 law makes it illegal to ride a merry-go-round on Sundays.
What mirror am I talking like?
Likes to go to
It says the law was enacted as part of a series of a blue law. Why a blue law, though? I mean, the only person working is you. You're pushing the stupid thing, right?
So what are we talking about merry-go-round? Like
Is
on
it
the
merry-go-round?
park goes around? Or we're talking merry-go-round like at the
like a
amusement
carousel.
park? Yeah.
I mean, a merry-go-round, my vision of a merry-go-round is one of those things that you push and you jump on, right?
Oh, I was thinking of like carousel with like
Yeah.
horses.
Yeah, well, no, that would be a carousel.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Huh.
I don't know. So just don't do it on Sundays in Idaho. We got family in Idaho. We should ask them. I'm surprised they're not in jail.
I don't know how they're all older. They're probably not pushing merry-go-rounds.
I know they're the only ones that know the merry-go-rounds are.
Yeah.
They don't have them anymore, do they? Out there do you see them on playgrounds anymore?
We do have one at the Cookville playground, but it's very flat to the ground. It is flush with the ground.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Ours used to be like they spin you so fast, they run around,
Mm.
and if you fell off, you're dragged underneath.
Yeah, I don't get dragged. I remember being underneath that stupid thing.
So you can there's no stepping up onto it. You just step onto it and it spins around. And then every other one has a little.
I just remember flying off like 20 feet, gaining consciousness like 30 feet away from the merry-go-round.
And there's bars that protect you so that you're if you're hanging, you can have 2 bars that you can hold on to in each corner.
This is why we have such little ninny babies today.
Yeah.
No, I feel like that's how ours were too, though. You're talking about one bar that comes up in the center and then 2 bars that go out.
Yeah, but there's also, and then every other one has a seat in the corner.
Oh.
You can sit.
Oh, yeah.
To be
Yeah,
cut up and bruised.
Now we're talking sissy new.
thing. Yeah, that's just part of
Well,
life.
I do think that playground is also for special needs, so it could be a.
Oh, yeah.
one of the seats.
All right, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so our next one comes from Hawaii. Coins are not allowed to be placed in one's ears.
I'm so
in
sorry.
Hawaii.
You're gonna have to read that again. It is still illegal to ride it. It hasn't been taken off the books.
I know. I just read that to you. I just read that to you.
I'm sorry.
You're looking up my.
Why would that?
Well, look this one up. In Hawaii, coins are not allowed to be placed in one's ears.
Well, why
Oh my
would you do
God.
that?
What?
Says the law was put in place to prevent the destruction of the coin, not your ear. You don't, as they could be damaged or lost when placed in the ear canal.
So your question would be,
Hold on.
How big
We're
are
going to talk about. There should be laws to prevent all the money from going to all the different places. Well, I'm quite honestly more offended by where some of my dollars mean.
Well, you know what? Don't go to Hawaii because I know Hawaii has strip clubs, so that's probably not going to fly there,
So
But how small are these coins?
right?
What are you sticking in your ear?
I don't know.
What size of coin?
Dimes, maybe? I don't know.
monkey noodle is a monkey noodle is a sensory toy, and it just stretches. It's a big band that stretches. And when Kason was little, he was 4 years old. He's stretching this monkey noodle. He had bit it up into pieces, and he stuck it in his ear.
yeah.
And it was not just in his ear, also up his nose.
Mm-hmm.
I could not get them out, and he's usually pretty cool, calm, and collected. He's not usually the drama child. And so he's like, Mom, I put this monkey in my ear. And I looked at him like, Kason, I'm not going to be able to reach out. I had tweezers. I couldn't get it. So we had to go into the urgent care. But the whole time there, Kinslin, who at the time was 2, was, why would you do that?
Right? She knew it too. You don't do that.
I could see her saying that.
Okay, our next one comes from Georgia. Carrying an ice cream cone in your back pocket is illegal in Georgia. So don't do it.
That makes perfect sense.
This quirky law has its roots in the state effort.
You licking it or what? So
Yes.
Oh.
Let me read this. The quirky law has its roots in the state's effort to prevent theft. Back in the day, people could attempt to lure horses away by placing ice cream cone in their back pockets.
oh,
Yes.
oh, that makes sense. So they can say we wouldn't try to steal it. It was just
Right? Exactly. It's just following me, and now it's lost, and I'm just taking care of it. Right? Okay, in Florida, an unmarried woman who parachutes on Sundays can be fined and jailed.
Oh,
But if she was married, it's okay to jump out of plane.
I guess so.
But let me help you.
Right?
But sorry.
to this point.
That does make sense, doesn't it?
Otherwise, otherwise it's a distraction. Oh, wait, stop it. What the hell?
I don't.
Come up with this stuff.
It's all on the internet, and so it must be true, right?
Yes.
We're looking them all up as you
Well,
go.
probably is
They
true.
are true. They're
Yeah.
true.
Okay, so in Delaware, pull
I
up
have to
your.
stop you for just a sec. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you see my director hat? I'm gonna do a director thing. I hear your. That's gonna be hard to edit out.
Oh, okay. That's a nervous twitch, I guess. Sorry, folks. Okay, in Delaware, there is a pull up your pants law.
They need that in California.
Yes,
Goodness.
right?
We need it in the school. Every school should have this law.
Yet the law specifically targets the practice commonly known as saggy pants or low-riding pants. This law is intended to promote modesty and maintain a certain level of public decency in the community.
Where's that at?
Delaware.
Oh, go figure.
So it says it's worth noting
Yeah.
that similar laws and ordinances exist in other jurisdictions across the United States, as an issue of sagging pants has been a topic of debate and concern in various communities.
It just what happened to common decency on the dress. You know, men used to dress nice and.
Can I pop in and share a story again? Sorry.
Actually, that's the last one for this week.
Listen, we had a guy that used to come into the party barn regularly, and he was on it. He was there for the Christmas event. He was on a date with his girlfriend, and we had a gal who worked for us who just had their daughter's 2nd birthday party at the party barn also, and the family was all there. The boyfriend, the baby's dad, he wore baggier pants and they were sagging a little bit. Not much, just a little bit. Oh, it offended this guy so bad. But he comes up to me, he's like, can you please ask that man to pull his pants up? I'm on a date with my girlfriend. And I felt so out of place. Like, is that really my job to tell people how to dress?
Yeah, but
I
that's
knew
special
him.
needs.
I knew him. So I went up to Aaron and I was like, can you please pull your pants up? And I'm really sorry I'm even saying this to you, but they're asking me to ask you. And I wouldn't do it any other time, but I know you, so I feel like, and he looked at me and kind of did. Later on, Tariana said that he was so mad that he had to do that. And I was like, it's really awkward. It's one thing, if you want to address it yourself, but don't put somebody else in the middle
Right.
of that. I don't
Right.
like that.
But he was special needs, and he was on a cute little date with his girlfriend. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. He was trying to show off, like, look, be the man and the hero for his
Yeah.
girlfriend. I understand that, and that's probably one of the reasons why I went and approached it. But
Well, on the flip side too, if you dress like that and you're going into an establishment, I mean, have some decency to not have to put the staff in that situation.
but in this case, like they weren't really sagging that much. Like
Did you ever see that video? So there's a video online, and I seen it the other day, and there was like a competition. Like this guy walks by and he has a little sag, and then there's a second guy that walks by and it's a little bit lower, like below his butt. And then there's another guy who goes by and his is down at his legs. And then finally the 4th guy walks by and he's dragging it with a pair of chains.
I thought the whole sagging things, and maybe this is wrong. Maybe if you know out there, correct me. But I thought the whole sagging thing was a prison thing where if you sagged your pants, that meant you were available.
I heard that too, but so I don't know.
So why is that?
Pretty enlightened.
I'm just saying, my pants are all the way up.
And you go to prison.
I'm an old guy, so mine usually come up to here. So
He's also has a.
It's not available.
yeah, and I got a wedding ring on, usually sitting by her, so I'm pretty obvious I'm not available, guys.
No guy, like,
Right?
Wait. Not to throw sober Dave under the bus. However,
Right?
Yeah,
no, but
sober Dave, I don't think he sags his pants on purpose. It just happens
I
sometimes.
think that dude's lost so much weight.
vendors
Yeah.
usually
His wife says he doesn't have a butt.
He doesn't. He doesn't, and everybody in the haunt has figured that out because they've seen it.
He's looking really healthy. I'm really proud of him.
Yeah. So good job. So that's my segment for this week, guys.
All right. So I wanted to share what's good in the hood. I came across this post on Hunter's Hangout, I think was the group I was in, and there was somebody who posted that they said, I hate to be the person, but the very reliable vendors in the past at Transworld have come up short this year, and packages have been waiting since last Transworld event. Something needs to be done with vendors taking money but then ghosting clients for over 9 months. Now, not just this post happens to talk about Transworld, but not just Transworld. Across, like, I've been on the customer side and I've been on the vendor side of things. We are vendors at a lot of the haunt events with primal contact lenses, and I personally will not. I hate taking orders if we don't have them in stock on hand. I hate doing it because it never ever fails that we take an order, being told that we have it back in the warehouse in New York, and once the order goes through, so many things have happened between then and the order being placed that following Monday that they're out and they're on a wait list, and then we're the middlemen, and it's very, very complicated. But in this industry, a lot of times you're buying directly from the artist. And I know Cody, we were talking about Cody with the K a little bit earlier. One time he paid $400 for, I think it was going to be like a clown's, what are those things, the hammer? Is that what they're called, hammers? But
Yeah.
Or snaps? Okay. Anyways, he $400 for this one from the UK.
$400 for a plastic hammer?
No,
Right.
it's a big,
It was going to be a big one. And
You got
he's,
true
that made noise.
from there too.
he anyway, so he made it in payments. She was kind of sending him pictures along the way, and then she just completely ghosted him. And this was a few years ago. I've grown a little bit since then, but at the time I was pretty petty, and I was like, well, we're gonna get your money back, because she just deleted the conversation, blocked him from being able to communicate with her. And so I went on her personal profile and like seeing that she had thrown her grandma a birthday party or whatever, and I was like, hey, it's nice that you have the money to throw this birthday party. How about you pay, you give the money back to the people who purchased from you or send them the product. Oh, their family attacked me. Her family was like, how could you get on her profile and say such horrible things? They're like, how could she steal $400 from people?
Did you put that on there? Did you work by that?
Yeah.
Good.
So, but anyways, my reason for bringing this up is, what are your guys' thoughts on, like when you purchase it as a vendor or as a customer? I mean, what is the appropriate amount of time to wait for a product to come to you?
Well, that depends. Okay, so if it's going to be custom built, and you give first of all, as a customer, I'm always going to ask, how long is this going to take? What am I looking at? Am I looking at 6 months? Am I looking at a year? If you tell me 6 months, and we're going into month 7 and 8, you better start refunding me some money at that point, I feel, or there better be a good reason. Now, if you're in communication with me, I'm okay with that, I feel. If you're telling me, okay, well, you know what, I thought I'd be able to get this part in, it's on back order, I'll keep in communication, and then 2 weeks later you text me back, hey, it's still not here. Okay, there's a realm of communication, and I'm comfortable with that. But if you're ghosting me, I just feel like our family has special ability to be able to get money back. We're not really in the business to just be handing over money to people and let them walk away.
It's not the Regalo everyone hears the name Regalo and they think mafia and Italian. It's not that.
No, it's not that. But if that's what you think, then whatever. I'm not gonna change it. Just give me my money back. But that being said, now on the vendor side of it, I always tell people, look, you're going to hear back from me within 2 weeks.
Mhm.
And if I don't have the product, and I've always been, and I don't know, I mean, I'm sort of different in this realm, whereas, Janice will try to talk them into maybe something different, another product or
Or
whatever.
on the floor. You said, I don't want to mail something because it never fails. Something
Yeah.
happens and then that's back ordered, things out of your control, or they discontinued it. One time that happened, but they just.
I just want the customer to be happy. If this is what you want, and I always tell them, if this is what you want, we'll order it. If for some reason we don't have it, you'll get your money back. And that's just been my philosophy. And I know sometimes it's tough because, when we're in the trade shows, especially, we get back and the money is divided up, or the money is
there.
Yeah, it's something we spent it on hotels or gas or whatever the case may be. But you know what? If it's 1 or 2 lenses, I mean, I'm going to come up with the money somehow. If I got to come up with it out of my own pocket, that's how it's going to happen because my name is out there.
That's why I was kind of playing through scenarios, hearing this. I don't know what this person purchased. I know we purchased, I at trade shows have purchased costumes before. Like I wanted Kinslin's Ringmaster costume to be custom made, so we purchased it from a lady who was going to make it. And I sent her, there was lots of communication beforehand on what I wanted and sending her over measurements. And I paid her actually in increments. Like I paid her when I placed the order, I put a deposit down. And then once she sent me a few pictures or whatever, and she's like, this is done. And she sent me a new bill. Once it was all done, she sent me another bill to ship it or whatever. So I like that way. So I'm thinking if you're getting a big project, maybe you need to do payments, don't pay for it at once.
Kind of like a contractor's loan too. You pay for it in steps as it goes. You put your down payment down, you get 10%, and then.
But I'm thinking on it from like a vendor end. Sometimes you go with a group of people, and then the money gets divided up, and like you said, by the time you realize that there's even an issue, it's like, well, where's that money going to go?
Yeah, that money's already split up and gone.
And then if you tell somebody, if they go, that's why I don't like paying the staff to go with it. Like, I don't mind if we're making money to pay for their hotels or whatever, the food or something, but I don't want to pay somebody to work there because we don't know what our final bill is going to be until down the road. Because you have, how many times have somebody, once we've gone, and this happens at Transworld, all the trade shows, there's always been at least one person that'll pay with their credit card and then come back and try to, we take their driver's license, take pictures now, everything, but they'll still come back and say, that's not me. And
yeah, I didn't order
I
that.
had to recently learn that we have to start taking pictures of the driver's license.
Right, with them.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And they're not, because they'll come back, and maybe not necessarily everybody we took a picture of this time, but people are coming back, even on $25, $40, $50 orders. They're saying, oh, we didn't do that. And we have, excuse me, here's your information. And remember, you gave me your email so I could send you more information, but we have your picture right here.
Problem with that, too, is that the credit card company will always take the customer's word for it at first. They will always pull the money out of our account until the dispute has been settled. So the money's not, so automatically we take the hit.
And 3 times the dispute was favored in the other person's where it shouldn't have been. We're at the money, we're at the product, you know what I'm saying? And that's what, big circle around. That's why I don't like it. If we're going to lose money, I want to lose it on myself. I don't want to have to pay somebody else and then say, oh, I paid, now I'm out double the money because I paid you to work the booth, and then I got screwed out of that.
But in this particular case, like I said, I don't know what he ordered. It might be in the comments. I didn't screenshot the comments, but I just think my advice to anybody that is going to be placing orders from vendors is just make sure you have a line of communication. And actually, if you have like a serious issue and you have an email or written line of communication and you need help getting your money back, you can message Hunt After Hours and I can help you get that money back.
Right. So I would also suggest that if it's somebody that you don't know, you've never done business with in the past, I am not afraid to say, can I take a photo of your driver's license? That way you have their name, their address. At the event that you have to file some sort of a suit against them, you've got their information that you can do that.
Well, that's what we not for filing a suit, but that's what we've had to do to prove that that's person using their credit card right there.
And it's at that point, it's not even a matter, because for a $400 product, I'm not going to fly all the way to Illinois to sue somebody. But for the sake of it, for the sake of argument, for protecting my name, my haunt, or whatever, maybe. I mean, I just might, if I hear that this is a problem, within the industry that this particular company is creating the issue, I don't have a problem standing up for everybody and spending my own money.
I had purchased something that was $14,000 when it got delivered to us, at no fault of the person who made it. It was actually the fault of the truck driver, but a big old hole was in the side of it, and that's never been resolved. We've just had it with a big old hole on the side of it from the minute it's been dropped off. Because at that point, like, who do you blame and who do you go after?
And we should have went after it was the driver's responsibility. We should.
You go after the truck.
I think we immediately put it to use, didn't we?
We were immediately putting it to use, and it just got put to the back burner. But there's things, there's things that happen, and it's just life, and you do have to understand. If you're making big purchases at these vending events, that there is things that come up, and you have to give a little bit of grace and leeway. But at the same time, the vendors have to understand that the customers aren't going to wait forever.
Right.
I want to add to that. I know that, and it's sad, and it really sucks because everybody still goes back because of COVID. I'm like, COVID's long gone, but we've been waiting for a battery. And we're told we're going to wait another year for this battery, and it's due to COVID.
Oh, for your
how
car?
are we so far behind?
That's for your vehicle.
I know, but I'm saying
vehicles. I don't remember last year. My car was literally in the shop for 8 months because of the everything was being. And then I finally got it back, and the air conditioner went out. I had to go back in the shop for 2 months because all the parts were on back order.
Well, they're saying my car will be 4 months, so I'm just like, I'm just gonna drive till it stops, then I'll tow it in.
Oh,
Until then,
my car's literally been in there for a year. And there is a car, and they're giving me a rental, so I'm not fussing about it because I'm driving something. What I am worried about is when I do get it back, that all the seals now are going to be dried out. And anyways, the paint's going to be faded.
Tires are going to be messed up.
Yeah, exactly. So there's just stuff that just has, but still, whatever. At least they're going to fix it, and I'm okay with that.
But my point to that saying is there is still things like if you're producing a product and you're making it, the parts you may need may be on back order for whatever. You don't have control, but as long as you're in communication with the customers, and I'm not for sure where it went on your story. Was he in communication with or?
He was not. So he's very, very kind customer, because people are saying, would you start by naming them? And he said, and through the comments, he's like, yeah, I'm not going to name them. I'm just going to give them a chance, but they need to understand, like vendors need to understand that customers aren't going to wait forever. And he's absolutely right.
Yeah.
Right.
The vendor who is messing with them, it's been 9 months. If you're not in communication, you're kind of lucky.
So I'm kind of torn on that too. I would hate to be put on blast just for a miscommunication, something. But on the other end of it, if they are in communication and they are doing something shady, other customers need to know not to put trust in it.
I learned the hard way a long, long time ago. I don't know. This has been 10 years, but probably the first time I gave a bad review. Probably the first time I gave a review, and it was because I was upset, but I was in a panic, and I was trying to call. I called, and I needed help on. And this was from Transworld, and I needed help, and nobody was answering. And this is before I realized, we're a lot of small businesses, mom and pops, and I thought this was a big company. My mind is. And it wasn't till later that I realized it's just a mom and pop, and they just gave out work that their work was phenomenal. Like they did a really great production, and I thought it was a bigger company, and it wasn't. I felt horrible because once you give those reviews, you can't take it down. When the owner finally called me, it was a husband and wife, and when she finally called me and she apologized, said, "I'm sorry, we're just a small business, and it's just me and my husband." I'm like, oh my gosh, I felt horrible because I'm like,
2,000 employees back in the office were. Last name issue.
Because I met the next year at Transworld, I went up to him and I said, I really do like your product, and I have to apologize. I did leave the bad review, but I said I just can't take it down. She goes, that's what's really bad with reviews. You can't change them once you put them up.
My Google reviews I could change.
It wasn't Google. I don't think it was Google. Can you change Yelp?
Was it? I don't know. Yelp is. I feel like people just go on Yelp to say bad things.
Just explain.
Well, I was in Yelp and I said a bad thing and I regret it.
I take Yelp reviews with a grain of salt because the people are. If you're on Yelp, you're complaining.
Nobody ever leaves.
This was 10 years ago, 9 years ago.
Yeah, I trust Google reviews. I really. TripAdvisor used to be my go-to thing. I'd check up TripAdvisor, but you don't get TripAdvisor reviews from these kind of events.
Right. No.
Well, that took a turn. That wasn't our topic of the day.
Anyway, the topic of the day is the haunt family. So having a good haunt family is good for the
Describe what a haunt family is.
family is your cast members and your upper management team, and
Sometimes
everybody,
even your family.
the relationships between your cast members. It's like your work family. This is your haunt family. Now, not every haunt that I've been a part of has had a very, very close haunt family.
Yeah.
I thought we were really blessed in Turlock. We had a really, actually, in Snelling, we had a really good haunt family that traveled with us to Turlock. I feel like we lost a lot of momentum as we started losing those, those haunt people. Gary, I was thinking about, he's not even, sometimes he's part of our haunt family, but he's not even really in the haunt.
No, I didn't show up. I didn't show up.
He's never worked for,
No.
he's never, have you ever even been through any of our haunts?
Well, I've been through them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, how did you come about?
Okay.
Let's not ask questions.
Right?
Just roll with it. Just roll with
One day I just came in off the street and I was like, these people seem cool.
Right?
Let's hang out.
Kay gave him a ticket. I remember him telling the story, and he went in by himself through the haunted.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
But so building the relationships, I feel like, is very important, because it builds morale, and it makes it builds your characters, so your characters are scarier. The more comfortable that your cast is with each other, the better your scenes are going to be. If your cast is not comfortable with each other, you have really awkward, silent scenes because they're afraid to really get into character. People that
I do think that that's why it's so important to keep something moving during the off season. You know, we talked last week to a guy that had a Christmas haunt, and you know, he was talking about doing a Valentine's haunt and then one again in March, and then then they're prepping up for their October haunt. And so that's, if you keep that momentum going, you keep your cast members close. I think it's important to do those type of things. We don't do that. We only do our October haunt, but throughout the rest of the,
Where are you at? Where you been?
yeah, we
Throughout the year, we do something almost every month.
that was not my. That was, I was just getting to that. We don't do the haunts throughout the year, but we do stay active. You guys cut me off too soon.
Are you scared?
No, I said we don't do other haunt. We don't do the Halloween. I mean the Christmas or the Valentine's. Yeah, but we do stay active. We have the Grams. We have the
we have
trade shows and
3/4 birthday parties just to get the haunt family together.
Yes,
So-
we do.
yes,
So
And people show up to that 4 3/4 birthday party.
yes.
Dress for the occasion.
yeah, we had a 4 3/4 birthday party, and you had to show up and dress like the 4 3/4 child who was insisting on having the 4 3/4 birthday party. And she has a unique sense of style. She's actually going to be starting her own clothing line. It's called
That's
Closet. So
Right.
like closet, check it out. Closet.
Check her out.
I do it for a long time, and finally I was like, okay, found a private label.
That 4 3/4-year-old had her own following too, though.
Oh yeah.
We used to go to trade shows, and people would they would hunt her out to take pictures with her because they knew that she would be dressed up.
One of my most embarrassing moments at a trade show, and I don't get embarrassed too often, too easy. She had to have been 3. And somebody came up and said, oh my gosh, I don't even remember what they called her at the time. They didn't call her Lala. But
Whatever she was dressed as.
yeah.
Hmm.
Can we take a picture with this? I'm done. No pictures, please.
She's very much like
Like these people are excited to see this child, all dressed in cute, not cute,
she
scary,
was very scary. And she
and want to take a picture with her. And she was, I'm done. No more pictures.
yeah, she's soft.
You should be saying yes.
She's very much about her personal space, and when the time is up, it's up.
Oh, God. I patted her on the back when we were filming. I said, hey, good job. She goes, don't do that. Okay. I was like, can I give you some knuckles? She went, no.
No, she told
Next time she'll say, why aren't you giving me knuckles?
Right?
Possibly.
but
I'm telling you, she will. If you say, oh, I can't touch her.
it takes a lot to warm up. Like she takes a lot to warm up to people, but she loves being in character. She loves taking pictures, but when she's done, she's done. Like
Yeah.
she
That was
knows when her
an embarrassing moment there, just to have a 3-year-old take it out. No more pictures. But how many times in your
That's easy.
lifetime, in this last year, has somebody been saying, let me take a picture with you? It happens every trade show. So people come say, oh, did you bring your granddad? So here's even something, a cringe moment. I was at a trade show. It was a newer trade show. And I didn't really know this person very well, but he knew me only because of the grandkids. But he knew my daughter, Heather. And he came up and he says, "Hey, is your grandkids with you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, they're in the hotel or something." He goes, "I carry a picture of Kinson with me." I'm like,
That was a little weird.
"That's a little weird. Why are we having pictures of my granddaughter with you?" And then he pulls his phone out and says, "I show this to everybody." And then I get it, because she spotted her and her characters, and he had pictures of it.
And she plans her characters early on. This last year, she wanted to be Lydia from Beetlejuice, and so I was all excited. I was like, "Oh yeah, she could be Lydia." The other kids weren't, as they had no idea about Beetlejuice. I just showed the Kason, once he watched Beetlejuice, like Gary had to research what we're getting into first, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, I can do that." Okay, so we made their little the what were they? Adam and I don't remember the ghosts' names, but the two ghost costumes, and then we dressed the baby as Beetlejuice, and they're like Kinslin just. And like the other kids embrace it. Jojo just, I think my baby, he doesn't understand like what kind of family he was born into, because we're going through the show and he's just like, why are we here? Like, what is wrong with you people?
And the other ones, doesn't everybody have a
Yeah, yeah. My 5-year-old, that's what.
So I stole your thing again. I'm so sorry, but I'm just sharing an embarrassing moment with the Hunt family.
Oh, it's not. But you shouldn't be embarrassing when somebody's saying, "I would like to not be touched." You should be like, "Okay, no problem, you're good." Not like touch the people. That's chill.
No, it was pictures. It was embarrassing because they said that, like, she's 3.
I
Yeah,
know. She is a deep.
No more pictures. Like, okay, like, we've taken 1,000 pictures this morning. Like, what the? Yes, girl. Someday you're gonna say, "I want to be on TV."
Yeah, she does already. One of my kids tells me their child is half over. He's 8, 7. He's almost 9. And, child that's half over at 9, and he hasn't been in the big screen yet. So what's wrong with me? Like,
Gary's gonna fix that.
Gary, hurry up.
get on it.
We're working it on this one, that's for sure.
Speaking of big screens, Gary, share with us your horror movie of the week.
Was it my turn already? Oh,
You're not ready? We can skip over to Janice.
Yeah, because I don't
Yeah.
think we really followed about the Hunt family and the importance of keeping those relationships year round, so that you.
Yeah, I think it's important to keep. I mean, it is important to keep the relationships year round. It's important to do something. I wanted to get into the horror stories, because sometimes you cast people that are just phenomenal at their audition, and then they just don't fit well with the Haunt family. Like, they just don't vibe well with the Haunt family. And
Like, maybe they should be out doing Tide commercials or something.
yeah, it's just pretty.
I will say that I think we're getting better. We haven't had any haunt babies in the last couple of years.
Yeah, that's true. But no, you want your Haunt family to be close, but not so
Not that
close
close.
we're breaking up marriages and having
Right.
haunt babies. And,
Yes.
yeah, we know. And it happens I mean, he's right. We haven't had it in a couple of years, but whew. And it's not just our haunt. There's other haunt. Like, it's just a thing. It's
Yeah.
something about working nights in close quarters with people. Like, you fall in love and you just are not really in love.
I just feel like if you're in your own scene, why are you falling in love with somebody who's 3 scenes over?
Yeah, that's
That
true.
shouldn't be happening. But
We thought like maybe getting rid of like beds and stuff, and then we found out that there's porta potties that oh my God.
my God.
That's just ew.
she doesn't look like that for real, right?
I hope not.
It's all makeup.
Monsters looking. People
Somebody has a fantasy.
bloodied up. What's going on in there?
Some of the things, listen, this year, for some reason, Sober Dave was just like the eye candy for everybody. And I had to keep doing double takes like, are we really talking about Dave? Like, what is that? No, he had a girl that had a real
Eye candy. I'm just
Oh.
sour apple
Bobby
type
Flay.
eye candy.
Yeah, like, no, it was like he
Because he drives the truck.
I think it's because he was planning this wedding. And so when you're planning a wedding, you're now more like,
Right.
oh, somebody's interested in. Now, he's been married for 25 years, so it's not like it's news, but they were renewing their vows, and I don't know, something about that made him attractive to people.
Attractive. The challenge.
Mm-hmm. Girls are a little wicked that way, Gary, in case you didn't know.
I need to fake a wedding.
Then you might find your soulmate.
Which zombie are you looking for?
Or wear a mask.
Fetish.
Like, if you come join the Haunt family, are you interested in having kids or no? You're good.
I'm up for whatever.
if you want kids,
Yeah.
come join the haunt family and actually be a character. Not, I mean,
Yeah.
you're part of the haunt family, but come be a character during the haunt. And then, like, it's like they don't even, like, I don't know, they just fall in love with the character that you're playing. So it doesn't matter what you're actually like.
Right. Thanks, Heather.
Yeah. So you may have a chance.
I know.
Now you will drive the other contagion truck.
I mean, seriously, there were 2 girls after Dave. Both of them would make decent I mean, like, one of them has kids already, but yeah, you might have a chance.
I feel like I'm getting a little old to be dating the people who work at the haunts.
No, yeah, well, one of them is 30 something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
I mean, like, not one of them. We have plenty of people that are in their 30s.
All right.
Have you met Cody? He's almost 40.
I'm not dating Cody.
Oh.
I think I feel I could do better than Cody.
Okay. Have you met Panels?
That was all right.
Thing is, they're
They're
taking
taking
young
him.
people in the haunt, like
Right,
yeah,
right,
older
right,
cast.
right.
I'm saying,
Right.
Goodness.
Some of them are now making a movie with us.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hmm?
One of them I didn't realize. One of the gals making a movie with us, she's 25, and I did not know.
I heard that conversation. What?
Sounds me.
I told you.
Why?
When it's 25.
The older sister.
How did
Shocks me.
How old did you think she was?
21, 22.
I actually thought she was older.
I think she is older. I want to say she might be even 26.
Oh, I thought she
Uh-huh.
was closer to Travis's age. Just
Oh, really?
yeah,
No,
Oh, I thought she was way young.
no, you didn't think that right off the bat, did you?
yeah. When she first came in,
Oh, I think she seems very young. Like, I mean, I'm not. That's not bad. It's good to look young. He hasn't had any kids yet. That's what happens. Is people start having kids. That's why Gary looks young too. When you start having kids, are you sure you want kids? Because what happens is not only do you look your age after you have kids, you gain 10 years.
I have 2 dogs. I mean, how hard can this be?
Oh, it's
Oh.
harder, Gary. It's so much harder.
you can't lock the kids in the cage when you go away.
Yes, I can.
I'll be back in 2 hours. You stay in this cage.
I threatened Corinne with Dave and Bobby's trailer. So we right now have a trailer, an RV, and then there's 3 RVs, and they're right like next to each other. And so I tell Corinne, like, you keep it up, and we're gonna go sleep in Dave and Bobby's RV. And she snaps her into place real good. But Kayson's like, why would you really do that? And I was like, yes. What's the difference? If we were at home and I was in my living room, she would be closer to me in her bedroom than she would in Dave and Bobby's RV. Like, I don't see anything wrong with it. But he thinks it's child abuse, so we're gonna
As long as she thinks it's
possible. Yeah, that's what I told her.
Yeah.
I said, as long as she thinks it's possible, we're going with it.
Yes.
I don't know if I'd actually ever do that. She doesn't even really stay in her own room when we're at home. So, all right.
We used to have a kid like that.
I know. 2 of them, because remember the other one.
I think they actually outgrow it,
that,
and they're about 25,
No,
26.
I don't know, because remember when we were in Atwater, she would come up. You Travis has been that way. He's 30, he's 20 years old. He's still spin, and she's
Well,
still
on
up there.
pictures. Actually, I sent him to Cody with a K. One time I went over there and Travis was asleep in your guys' bed and he was sick and he drove all the way across town. He had his own home and he drove all the way across town to come and sleep in your bed. And
How sad is it that you keep those pictures on your phone?
And you need me to see.
Right? What? That's just it. What exactly were you?
Years ago, like, this is important.
oh, I didn't save it. It's just
Favorite
I'm
fun.
saying I can pull it up from the messenger. A few days later, Cody sent me a picture of his parents' bed. He's like, yeah, there's no way I'm climbing in that bed. Nothing about it seems appealing to me. I was like,
Well, it's not like he was sleeping in there with us. He was in the bed. We did sleep out in the front room that night. He was sick.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
See, the things you do, wait till your kids get a little bit older, the things you do for your kids
Yeah.
when you want that close aunt family.
I don't want.
Right?
I think that might have been pre-haunt. No, it couldn't have been because we were talking to Cody, so it had to be after haunt.
Gary, I'm sorry, we keep just throwing you.
Oh, no, I was just thinking,
He's like thinking, yeah, I don't want kids.
Tell us before you share your segment with us, Gary. If you're sick, are you going to your mom and dad's bed?
No, I'm the complete opposite. I was just trying to think about even when I was like little, was I, trying to get my mom and dad's attention when I was sick? No, just leave me the hell alone.
Yeah, I think I was kind of the same way.
Yeah, I just want to watch my TV, go to sleep when I want, and just don't bug me.
Very beautiful. I have one child.
Oh, now it's beautiful. Now it's beautiful
Just
because it's your child.
That he will throw up and you don't even know
Oh, yeah.
that he's done it. gets sick, does his business,
Yes,
goes on his day.
that's extremely beautiful.
It is beautiful because I got the two girls that are barfing all over the place. Has to let everybody know that they're like,
Hear it.
make sure that you hear it. make sure make sure that we get all the carpet when the wood is right there. Like,
Yeah.
make sure, yeah.
The tiles right there.
It is really bad. So you do feel bad for them and you try, but it's so hard to clean up. And I am not the throw up parent. Chris is the throw up parent, but Chris was gone for 3 years because he's in service. So I had to be the throw up parent. And oh my gosh, it was so wonderful when Kason was sick compared to the other ones because he just didn't really need me that much. Like cuddling and stuff was fine, but
I can remember giving Korean garbage can, a wastebasket with some extra bags in there in case she got sick. And she would still holler out your name and miss when she was off in bed.
Because she needed me to know she was throwing up. I'm like, why? It's okay. Like you just
Spit in the bucket. Okay.
learn. So things you have to learn if you do have kids, Gary, is you just sit with them until they're done throwing up because otherwise they're gonna come find you.
So is the movie that you're going to talk about more gory than what we're talking about?
There's going to be so much vomit.
So tell us, Silent Night, Deadly Night 2.
All right, here we go. Silent Night, Deadly Night 2. It is half of the first movie and, well, maybe 75% of the first movie and 25% of a new movie. I highly recommend it. All right, it's December 24th. The film opens to younger brother Ricky, who is now grown up. He is smoking. And the cigarette is the loosest packed cigarette I have ever seen. I mean, it just looked like the tobacco was going to like fall out of it any second.
Years later. I'm sorry.
No, just December 24th. But it is way later because Ricky is an older person at this point, right? And he's in a room and it's actually a mental institution. And he's probably about 20. And he has a Zippo lighter, which is weird because fire. And he's in a mental institution, and he has a pack of smokes.
Oh, that was probably legal back then. Probably the same.
You think so? To have a lighter, though, in a mental institution?
Yes, because they used to smoke in the hospitals. I remember when I had, Heather was a baby, but another one of my friends had a baby.
Yeah.
And I went to the hospital to visit, and she was smoking in a room, and I was like, it was okay. And I remember saying something to my mom, and she's like, of course she can smoke in the hospital. Now it's not even allowed.
Oh, absolutely not. And yet not even in a mental institution. I mean, I'm sure there's probably like different tiers. Like, okay, we can trust that person with fire, maybe.
But you know,
This dude just killed just off the nun, didn't he?
Oh yeah, so this guy just murdered a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, so I'm thinking
could be trusted with.
Yeah, he should. If anybody should not be trusted with
life. A cigarette's going to calm him down. Give him a cigarette. Give him tea.
So at this point, he's smoking. An orderly comes in with this like box, and it has these two reels, and it's an old school recorder machine. To just kind of give you an idea how old this film is, and he's wearing this like really tight orderly uniform that's like a size too tight. And so when he moves around, you're just expecting the butt to just to open up, right? Because I mean, it's just, the fabric's way too tight, and he looks terrified of Ricky, who's smoking a cigarette, and he keeps like giving him these looks like, "That's Christmas," you know. And the guy's just like, okay, but he doesn't say anything. And so at that point, a doctor comes in, and for some reason, the doctor sits down, and he's like, okay, you can leave us now. And the orderly looks at him, and with like this stern look, and he's like, I said you can leave now. I'm like, whoa. And the orderly like still looks disapproving, and he goes, right? And so the doctor is about to conduct the interview, and Ricky looks at him and says the F word, which is really bad.
Feelings.
Yes, feelings.
No.
And the orderly like looks back at Ricky after he says the F word, and he points his finger at Ricky, like, don't do that. And so that's about it for that part. And so now I
need to ask something. Is that your notes?
Yes, they're horrible.
I feel so bad.
I
you and Heather.
I should have took better notes though, because I think they're out of order actually. So bear with me. And so now we see Ricky, right? Ricky's in a bad place. Ricky was the younger brother of Billy in the first movie. We didn't see much of Ricky, but we know they were both at the orphanage, and we know the last movie ended with Billy getting shot by the police and Ricky seeing it all. And at the very end of the film, Ricky looks at Mother Superior and goes, naughty. So we know like Ricky's a little messed up too. But as we go through this movie, we see why Ricky is so bad now with his smoking and his F word. So we start off, and the doctor's asking questions about Ricky's past. And it's the same footage from the first car scene. where they're going to go see Grandpa. And they go see Grandpa, and if you listen to last week's episode or have seen the first movie, Grandpa is probably faking it. We're not sure what's going on with Grandpa, but he's sitting in a chair, acting like he's comatose.
Grandpa's still around.
No,
No.
This is in the movie.
he's flash.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. This is a flashback. Yes, because it's the same footage as the first film. And so they go over there, and they leave little Billy alone with Grandpa. Ricky was never in the room, but apparently Ricky remembers this happening, and blah, blah, blah. Grandpa looks at Billy and says, have you been naughty or nice this year? But Grandpa's supposed to be in a coma or something. And Billy's all, I've been good. He's like, no, you haven't. Santa's going to get you. And so fast forward, they're back in the car. They only stay and visit with Grandpa for like 2 minutes. And they're back in the car. They're driving. Suddenly they see a Santa Claus broke down on the side of the road. Santa gets, they say, oh, we got to help Santa. It's Christmas Eve. They stop. Santa comes out of the car. He points a gun at him, tries to rape the mom, kills the dad, tries to kill the kids, but then I guess just gives up and he leaves, which has traumatized the children. And remember, Ricky is an infant in the car seat, but he remembers. And so after 20 minutes of this backstory, the doctor actually asks Ricky, how do you remember that? And Ricky's response is, because I was there. That doesn't make any sense. You were a child. So, all right. So then it cuts back to the orphanage. And what I basically just went through, I'm going to sum up as quick as I can. The cops are looking for Ricky. Well, no, the cops are looking for Billy. Billy comes to the orphanage after killing all these people. And the cops shoot Billy in front of his brother. He dies, blah, blah, blah. And Billy says the line, you're all safe now. Santa's dead. And Santa's dead. We're going to skip through some of these notes because I realize I've got like 6 pages. All right. So to fast forward,
You do really good.
but we've talked about this movie last week. It's 75% of the last second movie.
Okay.
So I feel bad for the audience. I didn't feel bad when I was writing the notes. Now I'm like, oh. So
Oh my goodness. Kason.
Yeah, he's okay.
so all right, let's cut forward a little bit. Now Ricky, the brother who's still alive, has been adopted by the nunnery, where was it a nunnery? No, it's an orphanage. Because the orphanage we find closed because of the murder. And so Ricky gets adopted, and Ricky's starting to have flashbacks, which isn't good for a little kid. And there's these 2 nuns. So they're downtown. He's with his adopted mother, and they seem like really nice folks. And we see these 2 nuns walking, and it's like out of a Quentin Tarantino movie. They are walking in unison. Their strides are exact. It almost looks like the Doublemint Girls. I mean, it's just like twins, right? And they're walking, and they go into this one store, and for some reason, a curtain closes, and it's red, and that gets Ricky to see blood suddenly fly in the curtain. It doesn't make any sense.
They go to a store
Wait,
and
he'll
put
hallucinate?
on the store.
Yeah, for reasons.
Okay.
And then, but Ricky and his mom are outside.
We don't know what those reasons are.
Oh, we really don't. Watch the movie. And so Ricky, and so suddenly Ricky freezes. And that's enough to set the adopted parents off. They bring him back to wherever they adopted him from, and they said, hey, look, this kid's broke, and he had like a seizure or something. What kind of kid did you give us? But he didn't do anything. Like, all he did was like freeze up. He didn't have a fit, nothing. He was a behaved kid. Nope. They're like, we need to bring this kid back. And then for some reason, like the nun, because it's a nun again.
Check your notes and find out where they took him, because I got 4 I need to take.
I believe it's an orphanage, another orphanage that's ran by a nun. Maybe they're all ran by nuns. I don't know. However, they decide to keep Ricky, and Ricky was kind of sweating it a little bit. So they keep Ricky. All right, for reasons. We fast forward 5 years later. Ricky now looks like he's 30, but he claims he's 17. They're at a funeral. It's Ricky's adopted father, who turned out to be an okay guy, I guess. And to cope with the loss, Ricky now goes for walks. His words. He goes for many, many walks. And one day, as 30-year-old Ricky, who's 17, was walking through the forest, he looks out and he sees this guy and this girl laying in a field, and they're drinking. You know what they're doing. And well, they're attempting to do something.
Naughty.
And then the girl decides that she doesn't want to, and she's like, why are you always pressuring me? And then he gets like kind of rapey with her, but he doesn't get that far. And he's like, I've had enough of this. I'm going to go to get a beer. And he leaves and he goes to his car. Well, Ricky's like, naughty. Because he remembers seeing his mom from the car seat almost get raped by Santa. So Ricky stalks the guy, and he's at his Jeep, and he's drinking a beer. And Ricky somehow gets inside and somehow gets the keys. And he backs the Jeep over the guy and runs him down dead. And the lady out in the field, do you think he's going to flip out? Nope. She's like, hey, thanks. He's like, yep. And they kind of like split ways. Fast forward a few years later, Ricky has a motorcycle and he's sitting on the side of the road or something. Like he's not riding this motorcycle. And this lady hits him with the car and he falls down and he looks up and it's this beautiful blonde lady. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. And she's all smiling. Like, you hit a person. Why are you smiling? Well, they immediately fall in love. And Ricky's like, great. Well, at the same time, when he's like telling this to the psychologist, she's like, I thought she was a virgin. So, all right. So flash forward, they're going on dates and then they kind of do the sex and then they're going on more dates and then they go to a movie theater, this is a movie theater. Like, this must be someone's living room with a whole bunch of seats. It is the smallest living room I've ever seen. And they're watching a movie and he looks at his girlfriend and he goes, hun, what are we watching again? He's like, and she's like, oh, this is about this is about a Santa Claus that kills people. He's like, what? And it's because, that's his lie. I thought it was funny. So then behind them, we start hearing some like loud people and they're just like being over obnoxious, throwing popcorn and whatnot. And Billy's like, between the Santa Claus killing people on screen and the loud people, he's like, so he gets up and he leaves her. She's totally oblivious. He goes back there and kills them. Nobody else in the audience is knowing that these two people are getting murdered, but Billy's killing them. While he's killing them, her ex shows up and he's like, hey babe, where have you been? And she's like, we're not together anymore. I don't love you. And he's like, I'll see you around. And then Billy comes back and and he leaves and Billy goes, and she goes, is this movie okay? He's like, I'm really starting to like this film. And so we cut to the next day and they're going for a walk, him and his girlfriend. And they're walking, they're both happy, la la. And they come up to a truck and guess who it is? It's the ex-boyfriend. And he's standing there and he goes, hey babe, who's this loser? And he's like, I've had enough of this. You're not going to talk that way anymore. And he grabs her. Oh no, wait, before he grabs him, he goes, the guy goes, yeah, well, that's not what she said or something to sexual. And he's like, then all of a sudden, Ricky realizes I wasn't her first. And so he grabs him and he slams him into the truck hood. And there just happens to be charging cables. And he clamps one of the charging cables up to his front top teeth and his head explodes. And his girlfriend is like, why did you do that? That's not nice. Don't do that. And he's like, punish. And he grabs the radio antenna off the car. She's like, uh-oh, I kid you not. That's what she says. Turns around, starts running. And he runs behind her and he grabs it and he wraps it around her neck and he kills her dead.
His girlfriend?
Not with the antenna.
No, he killed her with the antenna.
Have you ever, when you bend those antennae, it goes, and there's a...
not in this movie. It wrapped around like a piece of rope and she was dead. At that point, Billy has lost his mind and there's a cop that just suddenly shows up after he's unstringing her with the antenna. And he's like, I know how to use this. And he's got a gun pointed at him. And he's like not scared. And he walks up and it's just like Barney Fife. And he's shaking his gun and he puts his gun, which I don't think you do, underneath the unarmed man's chin. And he's like, just make me pull that trigger or something like that. And Billy grabs the gun and in a bad film cut, the gun is suddenly spun around and he shoots a hole through the cop's head, killing him. And now Ricky has a gun and he's going on a neighborhood killing spree. And this is the Leave It to Beaver neighborhood. And he's walking by and there's a guy walking his dog. Bam! And that's where we get the iconic as he's laughing every time he shoots somebody. And there's another person. Bam! And then there's another guy taking out the trash. And this is the best line in cinematic history. He looks at the guy looks at him, and Ricky goes, garbage day! Bam! Shoots the guy right through the trash can into the chest, and the guy falls down. And then all of a sudden, like, this little kid is seeing these people getting shot up, and she rides her bike, her little tricycle up, and there's a bell, and she accidentally hits his leg, and Ricky looks down, he's furious, and she goes, sorry, mister. He's like, that's okay. And then she turns around and rides away, and he's like, and he continues walking, and he shoots somebody else, and he shoots somebody else. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, there's a police barricade across the road. And they're like, drop the gun. And Ricky's like, and he takes the gun and puts it next to his head. And they're like, no, don't do it. You're going to throw your life away. And he goes, click. And then we flash forward. We cut back into the hospital scene. And he looks at the psychiatrist and goes, out of bullets. And then we get closer and closer and closer. And we realize he's killed the doctor at some point. And then we hear him go out in the hallway. And we hear the orderly scream. And we know it's the orderly because he's the only black person in the film. And so we hear him scream in like this overly dramatic black voice. And so now they're looking for Ricky. And Ricky is at this point going on another killing spree, but he's got one place he needs to go. And that's Mother Superior. And keep in mind, It's December 24th, Christmas Eve.
I thought he killed her last.
Nope, she lived. But Mother Superior, as we know from the first film had a stroke.
Yeah, she's not in good shape.
She had a stroke. She's put in a wheelchair. She's still, of course, in the wheelchair, except now she's horribly disfigured because of the stroke, which doesn't happen. And so he finds one of these guys, on the side of the corner. They've got the red bucket and the bell. What are they called?
Salvation Army.
Yeah, Salvation Army. He kills one of them and tucks the costume, and he goes to a phone booth, and he calls up Mother Superior because he knows the number. And he calls her up, and he says, "Merry Christmas. See you soon." And she's like, "Who is this?" And he hangs up the phone. He's like, and he walks off, right? So at this point in time, Mother Superior's at her house. She's like, "No." And so Mother Superior's like knowing he's coming. So she's waiting. And she's watching the parade while she's doing that because she's not afraid. And then Ricky shows up, and he busts through the door, and she's in her wheelchair, and it's like Home Alone almost. And she like runs away from him, and then blocks the door with her wheelchair, and the guy's just like banging on the door. Let me in, let me in. And she's like, "No." And bam, bam, bam. And finally, like, she locks the door, which she should have done in the first place. And she backs her wheelchair around, and she goes into another room, but that room leads to the hallway. So she's able to circumnavigate Ricky, and she's on her way to the stairwell. But Ricky's got through the doorway, and he's coming down the hallway, and he spins her around with an axe. And he's like, "I'm going to kill you. Now I'm really mad," is what he says. And the axe comes down, but she leaps from her wheelchair and down the stairwell, which we don't got to worry because she's already paralyzed. And she goes bum, 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 down to the floor. And the axe is stuck in the wheelchair, and he's shaking it around. And he's like, "Now I'm really, really mad." And she gets into another wheelchair, and she goes into the kitchen.
How convenient.
Yeah, it's just there. She goes down to the kitchen. She grabs a knife from the kitchen. And by the time Ricky's there, she goes, "Ricky, I'm not afraid of you. Come on." And so Ricky's going at her. She's going at him. And it cuts. Next thing you know, the police are busting into the house because they figured out that Ricky's going to kill Mother Superior because. And so, for reasons. And they come in.
Really good detective.
And the hot nun from the first film must have helped him because she's back. And she goes to Mother Superior, "Are you okay?" And her head falls off. Dun, dun, dun. And as the head falls off, right behind her is Ricky. And he has the axe. And they're like, "Ricky, put down the axe." And he's like, "Oh, oh." And they're like, "Bam, bam, 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 bam." They shoot Ricky full of holes. And he flies back to the window and falls to the ground. And the hot nun from the first one's like, "Oh my God." And the cop that like has this role, but like doesn't really have a role, but the way he's acting is like he's been through the movie the entire time. It's like the nun and him have a relationship. They don't. He's like, "It's okay, babe." He doesn't say babe, but that's kind of how it is. And then we think it's done. And we see Ricky laying in the snow and his eyes open. The end.
Oh, shit.
And that's
5 stars.
That's going to leave us at 3.
5 stars. Next week, we will take on Silent Night, Deadly Night 3.
I was taking notes while you were watching.
Oh, yeah.
This kills
Oh,
me.
yeah.
Yeah, so earlier today I sent Gary like, don't get mad, but I think this change needs to happen and this change needs to happen with our movie. And then he's like, "Oh, I think they're fine, but you know the kind of movies I like." Yeah, I know. Get other people to give us 5 stars.
No, really. What was your real reviews of that?
He said 5.
He said
Oh, 5 stars.
he's sincere when he gets.
No, absolutely 5 stars. They make that movie is on all sorts of products. It is on puzzles. I have a puzzle at home with a bunch of old cult movies, and it's definitely on there. It is a fun movie.
I have to ask you about I was gonna have Kason watch it the other day, but then I was like, let's not watch a scary movie before bed, and then I went, but something you said last week, I was like,
There's a lot of boob. There's not a lot of
that's what
there is
it is.
boobs in there.
yeah, how much like a sex are we talking in the
No,
movie?
you never see any sex. You see nothing like that. But I think there's
Cussing.
yeah, there's a little bit of cussing.
I'm not so worried about the
What's this?
language.
I was going to say, they hear worse than that from their mom
From the grandma.
and their grandma.
Definitely their grand.
But yeah, no, there's 2
I'm
or
not
3
so
ladies.
worried about the behavior or the cussing. It's the sex that I'm like.
No, you never see any sex. A lot of making out.
But if there's a lot of boobs, I'm nervous about that too. Like
Yeah, there's 2 or 3 women
we haven't.
who takes their tops off. But it's always the same thing. Like they get thrown to the ground and the guy rips her shirt open. Cut. Then the next lady comes up. You know, she's same thing.
Yeah, but what was the year of that film? That's why.
Oh.
Because that's what they could show at
80s?
that point in time. Yeah.
Probably
Well,
early
that was when they started getting more and more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are they showing now?
Oh, you,
No, there's everything.
there's a Netflix movie that's on the chopping block now, or a show. It's a series. I forgot the name of it, but yeah, they're saying it's like X-rated, and there's people stroking.
shows penis. Like wasn't expecting.
I don't think I've ever seen a show where it shows a penis. I'm sorry.
I have. I was in Canada. Just watching TV, right? Back then it was antenna, I think. It was a long time ago, that's for sure. And like, it's just like a regular TV show, like Channel 3 or 13, right? Out comes this dude with his dick hanging out, and he's just walking around.
Well, I guess.
Well, there goes our PG-13 rating.
Whoa, yeah, you got to edit that, Heather.
Are you? Anyways, like that, I did set Tyson back. I was like, oh, Gary gave this review of the movie, and he was excited to watch it. Then I was like,
Frogs. He'll watch frogs.
let me at.
There's nothing bad in frogs.
Okay. I feel like the Santa one seems like what is it? Dirty Santa? No, not Dirty Santa. What do we want? What is your review? Silent Night.
Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Yeah, I feel like it's something that sounds interesting that I want to watch. So maybe I'll pre-watch.
Watch the second one, because the second one is the first one.
Just with extra.
Just with extra. That's all it is. You're not going to see anything new in the first one that you would not see in the second one.
Okay. All right. Nannie Jannie, share with us your paranormal story of the week.
Okay, last week I heard you guys. I actually was watching the podcast, and I heard
Yeah, you weren't with us last week.
Yeah, she wasn't feeling very good.
Let's that before we dig in. So, Janice, what's going on?
I did it already.
Oh, you did
You're
it.
feeling better now.
I'm feeling much better now.
She had a heart situation.
Yeah, a little bit. I have a good heart.
Just doing bad things.
Yeah, it's something like that. So, it was no bacterial or viral infection. I have been having, we had talked about this before. I'd been in the hospital 6 times, or in the emergency room 6 times in 5 weeks, or 5 times in 6 weeks. Now I don't remember.
Yeah,
So a lot of times, and then and a lot of doctor's appointments and what have not. I just kept.
And for a lot of different reasons.
A lot of different reasons, not the same thing. I had a appendicitis. I had a broken foot. I had a pneumonia. I had
Head-on collision.
head-on collisions.
Yeah.
A bunch of things kept just life happened.
Right after each.
If I tell people half the crap that goes on in my life, it's unbelievable, because unless you live through it, there's always something going on. So now when people ask me, "Hey, how are you?" I say, "I'm crazy. I'm just crazy."
Yeah, but you have health issues. Janice was in the Navy, and while she was in the Navy, she was deployed after Hurricane Katrina to help with the FEMA. FEMA got a lot of negative feedback after Hurricane Katrina, so she was sent to work with FEMA closely, and she eventually got absorbed into the Department of Homeland Security. And another deployment. What's that? Yeah, and another deployment in after Hurricane Ike. It was Hurricane Ike, right, in Houston. She was stationed there for a little while, and a chemical plant across the street from where they were exploded, and they were not allowed to leave the facility. And so she breathed in. There was 22 of them, and 11 of them had passed away from cancer.
It's a big, like, Aaron Brockovich.
Yeah, it was a big thing.
Even called the So we were right. I'm almost afraid to say this because so much has happened, and I don't want to be in a ditch somewhere. But if I'm in a ditch somewhere, let me tell you what happened.
Yeah.
We were on the border of two parishes, counties. So on this side of the road is one town or county, and on this side of the road is the other. But you can call both firehouses, and they'll say, "We have over 500 calls."
Yeah.
Reporting an explosion, but we have no records of anybody responding. I was there. I can tell you firsthand, fire trucks responded from both houses. And because I was in charge of that site, I took a short ride with the fire chief. The fire chief was there. But what do you call this when you say there's things that happened in the past and all these people know it happened, but it didn't really happen? You get
Cover up?
Yeah, cover up it was for sure. But you've just been asking me, have you heard of this effect? Something effect.
Oh,
Mandela, yeah. So it's like this Mandela effect, because all these people that worked underneath me, they say, "Hey, well, what did the fire chief say when you were with them?" And I say what he said, and you ask anybody else, there was no fire chief there. Now,
Maybe you are the crazy one.
Anyways,
So long story short, Janice, she breathed in some chemicals during that time, and she's been having some health issues ever since. And but she is surviving. Yeah. Well, no, it kind of does. This last week's did. Your heart issue did.
well, maybe.
Yes.
I have a heart. We do know that. I too have a heart.
Yes.
You're not heartless.
I'm not hurt as Heather.
Yes.
So, anyways, I was having some complications and I think kind of stress related. I think anybody can say, I don't know what stress is. I just live through it. I just keep going. And one of the doctors, I was in a head-on collision with Heather, and that's when my body just said, oh, we're not doing this anymore. And it surprises me because for the last 6 weeks, these major things have been happening. I just get up and go. We got off the surgery, off the operating table. 10 hours later, they say, hey, we're going to keep you in here for 2 more days. I said, we got a business to run.
We got a
one opening. We got hot to run. I can't do this. So they said, okay, well, you're going to take it easy for 2 weeks. And okay, sign the release papers. And I'm out with Heather I think that's the first day that I'm really lifting heavy things. Not that I'm trying to lift heavy things, but we're trying to hurry up and open that night or the next night, right? The next night we're opening. So it's busy. Well, when this,
I was not here, just so everybody knows, to stop her from doing
if you
that.
know
So
me, you know me.
anybody
There was
who's out there saying, well, why would he let her do it? You don't just let her do stuff. So
And I don't know that she was lifting too much
yeah.
stuff. I think what she did have to come into the ticket booth and set up some paper stuff.
Something out.
should have just been in bed like she was
for the
supposed to
ticket
be.
booth.
And then I forgot that I just had a surgery, and then I jumped, and then when I landed, I was like, holy crap.
We don't have stairs going up into our ticket booth, so it's kind of a leap up, and it was far of a leap down.
Yeah. Anyways, they said that my body is just finally saying, hey, enough, you got to slow down and take care of yourself and what have you not. But then we had some stressor things happen, and I'm long story short, I'm doing fine. I just have inflammation around my heart and my lungs. And we're more concerned about my lungs because when I take a deep breath, it would like pinch her.
She's fine. Just her heart and her lungs. That's all. Oh, yeah. Yeah. A necessary part.
He's writing a movie where the girl doesn't even have lungs. Yeah. So, okay.
About that. Anyways, thank you for asking. I don't normally like sharing with me my story because you really couldn't. There's always something going on in our lives. Always something going on in our lives. And if I stopped to explain it to people, it wouldn't sound realistic. So here we are. Thank you for asking.
All right, share with us your paranormal story.
Okay, so
So Janice died last week, and now this is
Yeah.
this is her and the ghost of Janice.
So I've shared with you guys before that I see these 3 entities, and I know when something's going to happen when I've seen these with 3, but I see 2 all the time, all the time. And Heather had said something when he was watching the podcast about the black hole. Opened up a whole new.
Oh, when you were talking about your bag.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know that I don't want this all about me, but all about me. All about me it is but it's not. And so then I went back to do some research on what actually causes that, because we've seen him. And one day it was at the party barn, and there was this thing that was wanting my attention, like something was behind me, but I wasn't really sure what was behind me. And I thought it was when I had those kids, and I looked back, and there was like this, but it was more on a white side of the hole because it was dark. But like you've seen dark and darker, and I've seen dark and kind of a white. But I didn't see anything come out of that. So it just kind of triggered a bunch of like, and so I took a bunch of screenshots, and I sent myself a link, and I actually looked up. So these holes were not recognized for a long period of time but now scientific fact, they are proven. There's millions of them from this little size to this little size to, you can run a truck through it, depending on, who you listen to or scientifically who you believe. But there's some quotes in there saying, if you get stuck in a hole, I kind of feel like I'm going into, then don't go to it.
Why do you get stuck in it?
I don't know. So how do they know? How has somebody been, how do they know what's going to happen? And has somebody been, if you fall into one of these black holes, you will never escape. Now, this is scientific fact. How did he know that?
What do you mean it's scientific fact?
Look, I'm a sure.
It's on the internet.
Hey,
So
wait, do you know how,
It's Science Matters. Science, an official website of the United States government. Science Matters.
Oh, now I really don't believe it. Sorry. You just lost all credibility with me.
But yeah, that's what I was wondering is if we're looking at credible sources, like, what do you mean that, what kind of hole are you getting stuck in?
That's okay. Listen, you're going to have to share this link because this is one of many that I found. But when I found that the U.S. government, like, they didn't even recognize our tiny little explosion, but they're going to recognize these billions of black holes with, and they don't.
Are they like the cave holes you were talking about last week? Like where you get stuck in the cave?
No.
Or are you talking like
No,
random?
and if you get lost in a hole, it could be 80 years before somebody sees you again. What the hell? Why is our government saying this?
What do you mean?
So it's a black hole.
Yes.
So did you know that AI has confirmed another realm?
Hold on.
Did we talk about this? Well, that's what I think this is where this is going. I think that's
I feel like I'm gonna have to be like Big Ant and say, okay, to be continued. We're off the paranormal because this is real. It's happening.
Well,
scientific proof.
To the thing on Saturday with the drones in New Jersey.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I missed that part. I must have
Oh
posted.
my goodness, these huge drones that are bigger than cars and ships, like flying over New Jersey.
Now they think they are the U.S. governments, but the U.S. government's saying no, they're not because it's probably a black whatever operation. But they feel that so a drone manufacturer got online who has government contracts, and it's on there. All you do is have to look, and this is what the guy does. He builds drones for the U.S. military, and he says the only time you would run a drone at night is if you were looking for something that's either gas or radiation. And he said, so is it a bomb? Is it what? But they're looking for something. They probably don't want to make everybody panic.
Oh, so let's put 50 bus-sized drones up in the air.
Well, that's it.
And not give any answers.
They're asking Congress, they're asking the U.S. government, what are they? And the U.S. government's not acknowledging it. Another thing, not to get too political, is Trump and Elon are just staying silent. And Elon's got this thing in the sky that can just zoom in and see.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, why aren't they saying something? Yeah. Whoa. So even though I worked and contracted for the federal government for many years, please don't trust them.
Oh,
I do believe that. Oh, yeah. Well, so if I end up in a ditch somewhere,
okay,
let me give you a couple names. Seriously, when you start looking at these black holes, like I know that we've seen them, and I identify them as paranormal things. But then when I read the scientific facts, whole new rabbit hole, and then it splits off to a tunnel that splits back into the rabbit hole, and then there's a couple squirrels down there.
Okay.
Unbelievable. So black holes have long been fascinated the imagination, yet challenged discovery. Their extreme gravity so strong, and you cannot escape. First of all, how do they know you cannot escape? How do you know?
Somebody got stuck in there.
Yes, exactly.
Nobody's ever come back.
For 80 years. They said you'll be stuck for 80 years.
Yeah.
Somebody had to.
Another part of the story says 80 years. So I'm wondering, these movies that we see, they're scientific but not scientific, and they say, like the plane that disappeared, and the guys, they show up 10 years later, and they're the same age as when they left. Yeah. So
it disappeared, and we can't find them anywhere.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm telling you were watching a movie before you watch all these.
Yeah, Manifest.
I don't remember.
Manifest.
And they come back, and they're the same age, but the world's going on without them. So I wonder if when they found this person that was in this hole for 80 years, because otherwise, how would they know to put an 80-year? They had to put.
That is a very odd time to put on there. They could have said anything, not just 80 years.
Right. So go on. I'm telling you, go on to this site. You're going to have to post it. There are likely millions of black holes in our galaxy, and we'll probably never know where they are. They range from small pebble size to bus size. You can
put a galaxy like out in space, or are they on Earth?
They're everywhere. It says these monsters of the universe are nearly undetectable unless they are feeding on space stuff or tugging on nearby stars. That's for the big ones. It means one hungry black hole could be zipping right through our solar system without us even knowing, but highly unlikely. Now, why did they have to put that on there? But highly unlikely, kind of like your drones in the sky. It says there's things to, I'm giving you the highlights. I'm not. If you fell into a black hole, you would never escape. Somewhere in here that says it'd be 80 years.
Would you die? Or you don't know. They don't know what happens to you. There's probably...
Scientists call this the point of no return around a black hole. So, but if they says if you fall in one, how could you fall in one if they're talking about just out in the galaxy? See what I'm saying? So if you were in your playground and there's a black hole.
That's what I was telling you. We were seeing these like just random holes pop
Yeah,
up.
so what if you put your hand in there? So you're all,
Well, let's go
Okay,
back to
so that's
this
in your-
AI has found a second realm or whatever. Tell me about this.
wait a minute, I'm not done with my whole, told you this could be a segment itself.
Oh,
Ready to bring another segment. If you fell into a stellar-sized black hole, you could turn into human spaghetti. How do they know? Yes, it's as gross as it sounds. A stellar-sized black hole's gravity field is extreme and can be enormously over small distance. Can vary enorm. I don't understand what they're trying to say. And can vary enormously over small distance. If you fell in, your feet would immediately get pulled way more than your head, and you would stretch a lot. How do they know? This is called the spedification. Like spaghettification. Consider this a public service announcement and stay away from stellar-sized black holes. So the government has warned you.
I'm not buying that this is a government.
A black hole could fit in your pocket. Scientists believe there are 4 kinds of black holes.
I think they've made a black hole in the collider or something like that.
This is kind of scary stuff. For the first time in human history, we know what a black hole looks like. And then there's images. Heather, I'm going to share that with you so that you can share it on there because it's a real live dead thing for lack of better words. Hold on, I'm going to go back to where it said 80 years. I have to go through. I don't take notes like Gary. I took screenshots. 1 year near a black hole could mean 80 years on Earth. As you may have seen illustrated in the movie. Oh, maybe you can do a review on this movie, Interstellar.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm. He's got to get through 5 weeks.
You know, the astronauts are. I think they're going I think they're aging slower than the people on Earth because of the difference in gravity. Because gravity is relative to time.
Yeah, that's what it does say on there. It says a black hole is a place in space where gravity pulls so much that even light cannot get out. The gravity is so strong because matter has been squeezed into a tiny space. This can happen when a star is dying because no light can get out. People can't see black holes. They are invisible. Now, with that said, somewhere along the line, we're going to go back and talk about these light holes because they're the same thing, but the opposite of a black hole. There is such a thing as light holes.
I just actually learned that about like 2 weeks ago. I'm not quite sure what it is, but it's the first time I've heard that term.
I'm almost wondering if what I'm seeing is a light hole because it starts out gray and there's a little black in the middle. But Gary said it's something to do with your eyes, and
It's the macular degeneration, and it is a medical problem.
I thought you said there were specks in your eyes or something.
Yeah, floater.
I was going back because I took screenshots for my notes, but I do have to show you all this. I'll show you that. So Jojo, last night when we took him to that thing, I'm trying to entertain him in a 2-hour line was quite entertaining. Just saying.
Yeah.
But we get up to the Christmas because he's all excited. He's 2 and he's excited to Christmas lights. Christmas. Oh, you want to go see Christmas? And it means you want to see the lights. So we get up to the Christmas tree. I said, oh, can I take a picture with the Christmas? He's like, yes. And he gets over there and he starts posing.
He does his gang signs.
Where are we learning this from? He said, did you get it? Yes, I got it.
Weasel.
Anyways, back to the thing. It says that you can leave. There's different takes on this. That's the scientific government part. I would like to get into other aspects of these black holes. There is a belief that you can go into this black hole, and if you know your way, and I'm not for sure how you would know your way, that you could come out on another black hole on the other part of the universe or the other part of Earth.
80 years later?
80 years later. I don't know where they come up with this 80 years, but it sounds like if you know the tunnel system, which is far more interesting than the tunnel systems under
This is why we're being so many like on TikTok, there's a lot of time travel talk.
Is there?
A ton of time.
Well, how come this is becoming how come this is fertilizing now? Like, why now? Why at this day and time is this
always been a thing? Because
you got
just didn't know
some
it?
dude living in his mother's basement in his underwear typing that crap on the internet for people like you.
Well, you really hooked. If you're in the basement of your mama's basement,
.gov, right?
you got me hooked. So we must know more. Seriously, though, if you're listening to us or watching us on the podcast and you have any information or you want to add to these stories or if you've seen something, by all means, if you fell into one of those black holes, and 80 years later you popped out the same person or a different person, or anything, any of these stories that you've experienced, share them with us, because I would like to go even further into
we should probably broaden our database and for all the phone calls that'll be coming through with this one.
Oh, I know I'm telling
We
you.
really need, I want to know more about the AI situation. Somebody fill me in. You're saying AI found a second.
I just heard this, and I haven't researched it, but somewhere.
Heard 'em.
Are you the one that told me?
Mhm.
Somebody told me.
The AI, that they confirmed that there's another dimension. So what does that mean? What is another dimension?
I think they said there's 12.
What is 12? So what is each dimension? Is that why we have deja vu?
Ask Sheldon.
I don't know where Sheldon
I was not prepared to give a statement.
Yep.
is.
Me neither.
But what do you mean though?
Okay,
Like,
so on YouTube it says that you have to look this up also. There's a core team that's studying the dimensions, and they believe that there is other dimensions and a life that actually lives. Oops.
I don't like that.
Parallel with us.
And to me, that's like one of those horror movies that we've watched in the past.
So what does
but-
that mean though? Like where, like there's there another me
I don't know. Maybe we're gonna have to research that
Yeah.
for next week.
or just different layers? What do you think that means, Gary? You're you do horror movies and stuff. What do you see? What does that mean?
Oh, I'd have to think about this.
I feel like the dimension thing does make sense to me. Like the deja vu. Like I don't know if it's reincarnation or what, but there are definitely times where I've been like, I've done this before.
Yeah.
I know that this has happened
Mhm.
before.
Everybody feels that way at times.
Yeah. So what's that? What is that?
Right.
What's that
I don't know. I can tell you, I remember my first deja vu moment that I was in a metal shop and dropped a screw behind a drill press, and one of the kids that I went to elementary school said, I can't believe you did that. And he moved the thing and picked it up. And then like 2 weeks later, I dropped a screw behind the thing, and he's like, I can't believe you did that. And he moved the drill press and picked it up. And I was like, I dreamt this had happened,
We may have done this over and over and over again. It just might be on a loop.
Yeah. I feel like, and we're expanding a little bit more each time.
Do we get a chance to correct anything? I'm hoping that like we can go through and right our wrongs as we go along.
Most definitely. If it was a perfect.
Would you?
I
No,
don't know.
I don't think I don't think I would either.
might invest in a few things.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. Follow Elon a little more closely.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. So yeah, about these black holes, I really just thought, okay, that's something that you see in the movies, and now, like I said, I've experienced not black holes, but the black spots, and I knew that they meant something.
I've
But
seen
it's like,
things just open up right in front of me, and it's not a
you've
medical
never-
condition.
and you've never felt like, oh, it's inside there.
It's never been close enough that I could think to do that. It's always been while I'm driving.
Then you didn't think, come a little closer.
It's only happened a few times.
Can I drive my car that way?
No. They weren't big enough for my car to go through. It would be big enough for like a person to step out of or a person to step into.
Oh.
But it didn't look like something to go
Look
in.
and see if there's an 80-year-old man walking out of it. Then.
Yeah. He'd probably still be 13. He's been in there for 80 years.
I'm gonna be
And if he comes out
honest. The one that I remember the most clearly, I was leaving I was driving by the church that I go to in Tennessee, but the Livingston one. So because we were leaving the hospital, and I just remember it completely opening up, and it just looked digital. Like I can't. It didn't look like how we know things to look.
Like AI was involved in it also.
Looked digital, correct? Yeah. That's how I know it was not just a floater in my eye, because my eye would do that.
Okay, so you know those new, what are those called, where you have a light that looks like the holograms coming out of it? Maybe it was something like that, Heather.
If you have anything to add to any of our stories, send us a message at Haunt After Hours. That's all we've got for today. Next week, we are going to be talking about opening night, and we're going to be asking for ideas and come to the table with what are some things we can do to prepare for opening night, to have good opening nights. Okay, because we have 48 weeks to get ready for opening night again, or 46 weeks. I don't less than that, right? Anyways, we're getting close to opening night, and we want to make sure that all of the hosts that listen have a great opening night. So we're going to have tips on how to prepare for opening night next week's episode. In the meantime, let's stay connected, and remember,
Do it for the haunt.